Okay, welcome everyone to our March 6, 2014 webinar, and hopefully my voice is going to hold up today. It's pretty scratchy. Just wanted to run over a couple of few quick issues just before we jump into those fast money-making methods. And I just wanted to give a very quick update on a couple of new things in the ticket niche that I went into in detail last week on the best webinar ever. Maybe the second best. So what I'm finding, if I've got a site that's kind of semi-established, is that if I come along and add some new pages to it, what I'm typically doing now, because I always like to see how few backlinks I can create to get the rankings I want, or how little converting content I can need to create in order to get the results that I want. What I've been playing around with quite successfully in the last week is just adding only 100 to like 120 words of new original text. So it could be something like 4 or 5 sentences of text. I will just go and look at Wikipedia, for example, on a singer, bang out 4 to 5 sentences on that singer, put that on the page with 2 to 4 YouTube videos, 2 to 4 images, and then start it on PBN link kind of run with sort of 25 posts or links a week, and that is working extremely well and getting very good results in kind of 2 to 4 days. So the good news there is that you don't need to be working on or commissioning 500 words or 1,000 words. You can actually probably just write it yourself, provided you've got a good sort of template there going and your site already has a little bit of traction with Google. So that is good news. The second thing is that you would have seen where I've written about how you can get a data feed of all of the current tickets available, something in the vicinity of 70,000 different event tickets. Some are in groups like World Cup soccer tickets and things like that. And I put links to those inside the SEO Traffic Hacks training. Let me just jump to those very quickly. So for example, here in the best webinar ever thread, you can just see we've got this link here, and obviously I'll put these links beneath the webinar recording. So from the data feed, I just drilled out about 800 of the top music artists, and that's in the zip file there that you can go and have a look at. And just if you can see my screen, I know that image is a bit on the dull side. You can see, for example, things like Zac Brown Band Tour is getting 40,000 searches a month, and Michael Bublé Tour 33,000. Imagine Dragons, I didn't think they were that big, but they're pulling 60,000 searches a month in the US. Now obviously you need to go and do a quick check on Ticket Network and make sure they've got some events coming up. It's no good if they've probably just got a few concerts abroad. Ideally you want a nice big long calendar of US or possibly North American events there that you can go after, and sort of justifies building that page. But obviously the 800 in this list here are not all at 40,000 and 90,000. It does go down in volume, but you'll see lots of opportunities there, and you'll see why I think it's pretty hard to saturate this niche, and that's just on music. That particular list doesn't take into account shows or sports either. Now if you want to get the whole data feed, the whole Excel spreadsheet there, and obviously since Google kind of blocked that keyword planner hack that I've discovered where you could upload up to 10,000 search results at a time and get all of the search volumes for those, and the limit is about 800. Sometimes you see it 1,000, but usually it's around 800. The problem with a list of something like 70,000 tickets, it's pretty time consuming to go and put those into the Google Keyword Planner. But you've got it there. If you want to go and just have a look through, I think probably its best use is to give you some extra ideas. You might not have considered something. So last week I talked about the orchestra tickets, so that's an area to look at, and going through that big list could just give you lots of good additional ideas. Okay, Coming back to tickets. I think I covered that. Just make sure, yep, you've got a lot of events coming up to just justify that, even though with that, what I talked about with only needing 100 to 120 words of text, hopefully you can get a new page created pretty quickly. When you see a new tour announced by someone big, you can just bang that page together very quickly. So that's on the ticket niche. Just before, I don't think I have anything more on tickets. Okay, just one more point there is if you're kind of doing part of your affiliate ticket campaign around a specific kind of annual event. So I'm not sure what there is in the US, but for example, you've got the Glastonbury Festival in the UK, which is an annual event. So just like if you're a very active Amazon affiliate, and with Amazon they do a huge amount of sales volume in December. If you've got some annual event, you need to gear up a bit ahead and just make sure that your SEO is kind of in place and your pages are sort of well sorted for that ahead of time. It's kind of common sense, I guess. So let me just just back up there. Excuse me, just before I move on from tickets, did anybody have any quick questions on the tickets? Peter says it was actually the best webinar. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. With so little text, what layout are you using? It's kind of like a 2-column layout with a thick center one and this sort of a right strip of text links. But the videos and images are all in that center bar there as well. Do you know if a data feed works with a normal HTML site? I've actually got one of my guys here working on that right at the moment, trying to make it work, because I don't think they actually have an API and a data feed. I'm not a hugely technical person, but I don't think that's quite the same thing, and that could be a bit tricky. But if we crack it, Peter, and we do find a way to do it, we'll definitely publish how to do that sort of step-by-step guide. Ed has asked, how do you deal with expired events and keeping up with this? There are a couple of ways. If your site can handle the data feed side of it, Ed, that will do it for you. But with my sites at the moment, because of the way we've sort of done it in our business, which is sort of the not way to do it, which is not recommended, we actually have to go and do that manually. So we have people whose job it is to go and check those events and check what's been added to ticket network. So at the moment it's a manual job, which is hugely inefficient, but the conversions are there and it's got good income, so it's okay. But obviously that's not the smart way to go. Okay, sounds like our questions are covered there, so let me jump on to the next section. I just wanted to clarify, based on what I talked about a few weeks ago, I'm not sure what the exact date was, it kind of revolved around this, these Google Hangouts that John Mueller from Google Switzerland does, where he's been banging on and on with increasing kind of intensity about a future Penguin update possibly penalizing sites that have search terms as their anchor text. He wouldn't obviously say what proportion of those backlinks or anything like that. The only problem, or one of the big problems that we have to deal with here, is that there is a big difference between the way Google is running kind of day-to-day now without Penguin going, and then if this John Mueller next Penguin search term backlink anchor text is run again, or when it's run again, that could be a real issue. But the thing is, right now, for Google without Penguin, the keyword anchors do work well for ranking. And what I'm seeing in the runs that we do here in the test is that the more of the generic anchors we use, and I just kind of chuck raw URLs into the mix on that one as well, because there's only kind of one link type there, the less the rankings performance, it kind of falls off. So purely from a ranking point of view now, we see that the more of those generic anchors come in, the less effective it is SEO-wise, but the potential upside, and we're all dealing with the what-if game here at the moment, the potential upside is that web page or website might not get slapped if Google do bring in that kind of penalty in a penguin form. So my own approach, and you've got to choose which way you decide to do it, is I'm kind of governed by how much risk. So for example, if I've got a disposable parasite page that if it gets hit, I'm not too bothered. Let's say I'm doing a 50 PBN link run. I'll probably use I will use all keyword anchors, all highly mixed up. And typically, as I've sort of discussed before, the quick way that I'll do that is put in the #1 site, put in the URL into the Google Keyword Planner for the main keyword that I want to rank for. So let's say, for example, it's Pearl Jam tickets. I'll come along and I'll put Pearl Jam tickets into the Google Keyword Planner, and I'll see what keywords it spits out for that, and I'll go through and pick them out. I might throw the switch on for more relevant terms and take it off and just see what comes up there. Go through, have a look, and just pick out what I think are the best ones of those. So that's on a pretty disposable property. I don't care if it gets knocked out. It's not a biggie, and I just throw another one up. Now, if it is a site that I do care more about, and I don't want to run that risk quite as much, what I'll do is just do a split. Let's say it's a 50 post run. I'll do 25 keyword anchors, again pulled from that same #1 URL method. And even if it's my site there, it's funny how you can get extra additional keyword ideas on your own sites from the Google Keyword Planner that you might not have considered before. So I'll have half generics and half keyword anchors. If it's a 100 post run, I'll go half keywords, half generics. And as you can see on the screen there, the rankings results are not as strong for that, and it's going to require kind of more PBN links. But it's the question of weighing up future risk versus current performance. But Google right now is still responding to keyword anchors, and I like to have quite a really big range of keyword anchors, not just from a potential penguin slap point of view, but for ranking for more of those terms as well. And as I've said many times before, if we rewind to that Paleo BuzzFeed page, that was on page 1 for like 32 or 33 terms. So having those different anchors definitely did pay off there. Okay, before we move on, let me just check any questions, and there'll be a Q&A at the end as well if a new question does occur to you. Okay, we're looking good, but if you've got a good question that comes, don't worry, we're going to get to Q&A as well. So let's jump on to some ways to make money from SEO quickly. So just a few quick caveats just to give you a bit of context for how I put this together. And I was actually thinking of someone that I know who could be on the call tonight, who was sort of in that situation where they needed some quick kind of online income. So I thought, it's a situation that many of us could have found ourselves in or are in right now. So these could be very useful for generating some fast income. So these are kind of quick and ugly business models for fast SEO or IM. It's not all SEO, but internet marketing related money. These are not the only ones, and you might have your own spin-off ideas that you get once you kind of see the potential of these, but hopefully it's going to prove valuable for you. So as I've walked through these 7 methods, and I'll just stop at the end of each one for any questions, I'm not giving you like a 50-page what if and what about that kind of scenario here. So these are just the fundamental elements of the business model. If you have questions you want to come back to me, you can just post them underneath the recording for this webinar, and I'll come back to them. All of the ones that I've outlined here are ones that I've had direct experience with, or somebody very close to me has had positive, successful direct experience with, so they're not just all completely pie in the sky theory. Some of these require some money to start, some don't, some just require time, and I was very mindful of the fact that if you're needing some fast money from SEO, the last thing you want to be doing is spending too much. So I did keep that in mind. And while it's fast money, it may not necessarily be big money unless you can possibly scale some of these. But these are more like kind of stepping stone sort of emergency rent-to-pay models, if you like. What I've done here is, rather than just trot out the old cliched, go and create a Fiverr gig or write some articles, because that advice has been really well covered everywhere else, I think. I've gone for ones that hopefully are a little bit cleverer and you know, pretty easy to implement. Obviously, you can go to Fiverr and you can look at doing things like video reviews and offering kind of backlink services, all those kind of things, options there to write articles, to write press releases, but it's super low money. It's you know, tough way to make money online, that's for sure. Okay, so let's jump into the 7 models that I wanted to talk through. So here's number 1. So I'll just kind of walk through the steps. So in step 1, you head over to JVZoo or Warrior Plus. I think there's Warrior Pro as well. Have a look at bestsellers from the last day, week, or month. They'll be on a whole range of different things: Facebook marketing, YouTube, SEO, whatever. There'll be a whole load of different ones there. You're probably going to connect with some a lot more than others. And what you want is to find a good converter there, and you can have a look at like the 30-day best-selling history, and hopefully you're going to find a product there that has merit, though that could be getting increasingly kind of difficult these days. And the thing about JVZoo, and it could well be the case for Warrior Plus, I'm not 100% sure, probably is the same, is that commissions are instantly paid. So as soon as you make a sale, the money is directly paid to your PayPal account. At least that's my experience. But in terms of determining whether the product or service has merit to promote, what I would do is go to the very, if they have a Warrior Forum thread, is to just immediately go right to the very end of the thread, because you tend to get up at the beginning of the thread, all the guys saying, I love this idea, it's going to be amazing, or whatever, but at the end of the thread, you tend to get the more reality FM perspective. So there's some hideous bug in the software, or their customer support sucks, or any other kind of problem, and you're going to get a much better idea of really of the quality of that product. So let me actually just jump over there and show you on screen what I'm talking about. There. Nope. Okay. And so here, for example, on JVZoo, we've got, I can have a look at bestsellers past 30 days. A lot of these are probably horrible. The SEO ones I find are normally just terrible, but like to check them out anyway, because often you can get a spin-off idea and you want to see what other people are playing around with. So you can see there you've got a whole bunch of possibilities, and over on Warrior Plus we can also see, you can click here to view top sellers yesterday, last 7 days, last 30 days. You know, if you've got a bestseller over the last 30 days, it's probably getting some traction there, and you can see the diversity of possibilities: Kindle, Marketing Magic. We've got Teespring on making money from T-shirts, I think, Underground Traffic Blueprint, and Multinator, which is like an SEO software thing, another one. So you can see there are possibilities. You've got a bunch of products to look at. So the next thing to do is to actually buy it. So there's some expenditure right there, damn it. And study everything about it for kind of a solid 1 to 3 days. And if you actually did that on almost anything in internet marketing, most people just have this kind of internet marketing ADD or ADHD going. They can't discipline themselves to study something for an hour, let alone 1 to 3 days. And you kind of really want to dive in very, very deeply into that product and just kind of know it backwards, and know all the what if and how about that and all those kind of scenarios. Now the next thing that you want to do, because you know this particular product, is head over to good old Traffic Planet, and there what you're going to do is create a very, very detailed step-by-step guide on how to use this product. Now, Traffic Planet rules are that you can't have affiliate links in the actual post, but you can have them in the signature file. You've got a couple of options. You can have the affiliate links in the signature file, and obviously your text in your tutorial directs people to use that if they found your guide valuable. And the other thing you can do, which also works pretty well, is to create part 1 of your tutorial guide. I don't want to call it a review because that has a bit of a negative association, but your sort of step-by-step tutorial guide. Part 1 there, and then you need to click to go to your blog, which could be on Weebly or Blogspot or whatever. If you don't want to have hosting, you just want a free service, because it's not really about, that particular page is not that much about SEO. The traffic is going to come through this thread. So you've got those options there on the affiliate links, and I wouldn't put any links to the product in the actual tutorial guide. I just direct people to the very bottom of it. Warrior Forum also has a, you can leave reviews. Let me jump over to that. If I've got the page, so we've got, for example, I was looking at it earlier. We've got this internet marketing product reviews and ratings here, but they do disable the signature file, and obviously I think the current rules, has been for a while, there are no affiliate links in Warrior Forum signatures. I could be wrong, but I think that was the case last time I looked. So you can see here, you know, this guy Crueler1, who's got 3,000 posts, pretty substantial. Has anyone here used super simple rankings, and you get pretty short answers, and even this one here is not formatted very well. So something that has some heat. You could have used Warrior Forum, but they don't allow affiliate links, so that's just not going to help you much. And even just a normal blog signature link is no good because they've disabled it in this section. But over here on Traffic Planet, you would just come in and add it into just the main SEO discussion. So this is a really important point. If you're using this model, you want to use what I call a car magazine review tone. And what I mean by that is, let's say you go and have a look at Motor Trend magazine and they're writing about a new Toyota Camry. The guys at Motor Trend could not care less whether you bought that Toyota Camry. What they're going to do is test the car. They're going to say, you know, it's got a very economical engine or very powerful, the back seats aren't comfortable, the boot's too small compared to its immediate competitors. They're going to kind of give you a good and bad scenario on it, but the tone isn't hypey, it's much more factual. So a good model here, and I'll just show you the link in a moment, and obviously again I'll put it beneath the recording, is Matt Woodward's style of tutorial. So, you know, if he does a very detailed one on using GSA, for example, to build tiered links, he's not with every sentence and every feature that he shows or every step, he's not going all hypey crazy on GSA. I hope he's not. From memory, he wasn't. The more factual you are and non-salesy, the more credibility you have. You just have this short, relatively short guide to establish some credibility because most people probably won't know you yet. So just kind of keep it factual and step-by-step guide, and rather than it being called something like a spider spanker review, it's more like how to do X with such and such a product, how to build tiered backlinks with GSA, you know, how to run a complete tiered link building campaign with GSA in under 10 minutes. Probably not possible, but you get the idea of the kind of title and headline and hook. So it's how to do something with such and such a tool, and ideally in a certain time frame, that sort of thing. As I discussed there, you know, the affiliate links are in the signature and or part 2 on a blog page like Blogspot or Weebly if you're really strapped for cash. And if we have a look at Matt Woodward's, here. This is on his member page on Traffic Planner. In a way, Matt's whole career has come out of doing tutorials and guides, and that's how he's built such a big following in a relatively short period of time. That one's for one of his own kind of bought products there. This was a comparison, Traffic Planet versus Black Hat World Warrior Forum. Very detailed, and you know, the tone that Matt is going for and what he's established is a pretty independent voice when analyzing. So here's a tutorial how to track anything with Google Analytics. It's a guide. It's a 23-minute guide, and you don't see that many people, incredibly, in internet marketing selling to other internet marketers with less experience, creating really good step-by-step 23-minute guides on how to use anything. It's incredible, but sort of education-based marketing works extremely well, but you've got to give a high-quality, independent, factual, simple step-by-step guide on what to do there. Okay, do I have more on that? If you can, if you're getting traction with that, if it's affordable, you should then maybe look at SEOing your Traffic Planet thread page URL, because it will respond usually very well to a bit of SEO. You might throw $100 with some PBN, or not private blog network, but some blog network links added just to drive traffic up further. Obviously, you want to be attentive to the thread and answer additional questions and follow up. And that also gives the chance for your affiliate link to be seen again in the signature. And when you do make a new reply here on Traffic Planet, it's a bit different on other forums. If you can see over here, we've got this latest post section over on the right. I can't use a Camtasia type sort of highlighter, but hopefully you can see that here over on the right where I'm selecting now. As soon as you answer a question from somebody about your guide there, you will pop back up here into latest posts, and that also gives you a bit more traffic as well. And when I get to one or two of the other models, you're going to see the kind of views you can get on just through, for example, here on Traffic Planet. I'm not sure about the Black Hat World rules on tutorials. I have no experience on that, but you can find that out with a bit of research. I think that's all my points on Model 1. No. So there, the expenditure was just the cost of buying the product plus your time, that 1 to 3 days of solid research, including writing time. And the best advice I can give you in terms of when you're writing it is, however simple you think it is, make it simpler, because the vast majority of people, there's always kind of that core of experienced people, and I think that applies a lot to the great crew on SEO traffic hacks, including you here today. But generally speaking, in SEO or internet marketing, you're speaking to a huge relative newbie group and a relatively small, more experienced group, and you've got to write simply and easily, and maybe even use metaphors, and I like to use pictures a lot and point to things and keep it all step by step, but just always try to just make it simpler. And I know I'm probably guilty of over-complicating and writing it a bit too formally and academically at times as well, so I'm aware of that. But if you just kind of try to keep it simple for the newbies, it'll convert a lot better. So that's Model 1. Ed did ask a question, but then Ed said I answered the question. Awesome. I know this isn't a super sexy model, and maybe none of these are, but if you're in that situation where you can't get any traction with any of your other web properties, this is something that can work, and work very, very quickly, and people will see it straight away. Okay, let's move on to Model 2. Only 6 to go. Okay, so what I recommend you do, and in a moment everybody's going to jump up and down about quality of domains here, and I'll come to that. So in Model 2, what we want to do is use the Register Compass PR domain buying method inside SEO Traffic Hacks. Hold off on there are no quality domains there. buy some PR3s and 4s, possibly even higher if they're there, and these should be about $20-something in GoDaddy closeouts, those closeout domains. Now, two problems with there is this guy Thomas who I had been getting lists from. He's sort of a bit off the radar at the moment, even though I've been in contact with him and sort of worked with him for a long time. And at the moment, it's tricky just to get a fully up-to-date list, so that's a bit out of the picture just for the moment. But the Register Compass method, and I know that's a $37 a month subscription, but to me, for the information filtering it can do, it's completely worth it. It's a fantastic product. You can, and even every day, someone on my team jumps in there and they will spot a couple of good domains and grab them. It's all a question of persevering, getting in there. I know the good ones can go pretty quickly. You've got to have to keep an eye on it. Because this method is now published inside SEO Traffic Hacks, and I think it was even published before that in Domain Buying Black Belt. It's really a question of putting in the time and just checking, coming back, checking more about those. For me, I don't want to get into a bidding war at all because the prices go up on the really good domains, and the way domain options are run, I hate that business, how they keep extending with new bids, and it's just massively time consuming. So I just work with closeouts. If you're watching this webinar live or on the recording and you're not sure about what on earth I'm talking about with this Register Compass domain buying method, the link to it will be below, but it's in the advanced section in the training. Actually, let me just jump there very quickly. So if we come over, so here I am on the main training page. So if we scroll right down into here, it's got pretty long now, crikey. We've got down here in the advanced area here, you've got how to buy aged PR domains, and here we go, step 1, where to find aged PR domains there, and I think that's the area where I go into this Register Compass and all the little do's and don'ts of it there. I know the pickings there can be quite slim, but it is a question of perseverance. Then the next thing to do, once you've got the domains transferred to you, and that does take a bit of time, unfortunately. Sometimes it can be a couple of days, sometimes it can be, unfortunately, up to a couple of weeks. What we then want to do is to go over to both the Digital Point domains for sale and the Traffic Planet domains for sale subforums, and they're both free. Traffic Planet is definitely free to advertise on. Last time I checked, Digital Point was still free. I'm not sure if that's changed. And you want to sell at 2 to 3 times the price that you paid, which should be achievable if you've done your buying well. And let me just head over there to show you what I'm talking about. So here on Digital Point, whether you love it or hate it, can still be a useful place, to get domains, sell domains, and even sometimes get them. It seems to have a lot of scammers selling there. So if you've actually got good domains, that can work for you. You notice how they have this dull down kind of area when things are sold. So some sales have ended here. We've got a PR5 down here that went for $149. If you go to the previous day or two, if I jump over to page 2, we scroll down, they always put the sold ones at the bottom. What can we see here? This guy was selling 9 domains. You get an idea. Some super cheap ones may not even have real PR. That is obviously one venue, and over here on Traffic Planet, you can see here, if I just highlight it, this one here, domains for sale, websites for sale, free classifieds there. So you can go in there first before you even do any buying, check current approximate PR sales level. I actually think there's a better way to use PR domains, and I'm coming to that in another model. You need to build on Digital Point, particularly your iTrader ASAP, which is where sellers and buyers leave feedback for each other and you build your reputation accordingly. Pretty simple model. It's sort of like domain arbitrage here. You're buying it in one place, selling it in another. And because it has so many newbies, actually, it's probably worth hitting Warrior Forum as well. But I'm not sure if you have to actually pay for that in that relevant area there. Okay, let me just jump back and see if we've got some questions on that one. Okay, cool. Looking good. Okay, model number 3. So what you want to do for this one is identify, I haven't personally used this method, but I'm intrigued by it and I really want to try it, but I do know people who have used it successfully. You want to identify a converting affiliate product for a very, very specific audience. Get the affiliate link, and then you want to come to a site called sponsoredtweets.com or ones like it, because there are a few around now, so you can just Google sponsored tweets. And what you want to do is pay for somebody with a big Twitter following to tweet for you with your link. So last time I checked, and his price could have changed, but Shoe Money charges $150 a tweet, which just seems very, very low to kind of throw away your reputation on with a bunch of spammy affiliate links, but that's a whole other issue. Shoe Money is on sponsored tweets, so if, for example, you're focusing on internet marketing and I am make money online kind of audience possibly, I'm not sure if he doesn't permit affiliate links. That could complicate it. You might need to build a landing page somewhere. Obviously, he probably has right of refusal over any tweets. And if we have a look at that site, we can see here that if I want to get, for example, I must admit I don't know who a lot of these people are. You can actually have Lindsay Lohan tweet for you. And when I first saw this a while back, a tweet from Paris Hilton was, I think, only $4,500. Obviously, I'm not suggesting you want to spend this kind of crazy sort of money for one tweet. But this is where you can see, actually, let's check the followers on Shoe Money, which I think is on there. If we can look on the tweeters, celebrity tweeters. So they've got Jeremy Shoemaker, Shoe Money, if you're not familiar with him. I'm not sure who Chris Pirillo is. Maybe he's really well known, or this social media crusader, whatever that is. Can I quickly see? Yep, so you can see that Shoe Money has got like 156,000 followers. Doesn't mean they're all going to click on every tweet of his, and he tweets pretty often, which means they might get ignored more, but it's an option there if you can still get it for that good price. And interestingly, at sponsored tweets, and it might be the same elsewhere, there are a whole load of people who seemingly have quite a big following that you can get tweets for like $1, just $1. Now, there could be a lot of fake followers. It could just be a lot of it might just be some terrible scammy way to make a few bucks from fake Twitter followers using sponsored tweets. I'm not sure how rigorously they check people that they put into the program, but if you can find the right audience there, that potentially could work. Now, you saw there with the pricing model, and they've got like, I think it's like 90,000 tweeters that you can potentially get sponsored tweets from. But obviously the hit-miss potential here is pretty high. So, like all paid traffic, PPC, paid advertising, paid traffic generation, it can be very much hit and miss, so it's more of a gamble. Just a quick note here, some tweeters may not accept your affiliate links, and maybe that's an issue with sponsored tweets generally. But as I said, you've got a lot of no-name kind of tweeters there, at least they were no-names to me, but maybe I need to watch more television, have super cheap sponsored tweets. I'm not sure if anybody on the call tonight has actually used sponsored tweets and has anything to report back from the experience. If so, just it'd be great if you could chip in at the end with any thoughts on how you found that. Okay, let's move on. Looks like we're good on questions. This is a bit of a funny one. It's a tricky one that I'm kind of under certain restrictions to talk about, you know, from a moral integrity point of view, but it's such an intriguing option that I just felt really compelled to put it in, but I'm not going to sort of reveal exact secrets. The circumstances under which this was revealed to me and the specific niches mean that I can't sort of just say, have a look at this keyword and have a look at this niche. So you do need to go away and do some research, but this is a really intriguing model actually, and a very clever way to use SEO in my view. So when it comes to AdWords on the SERPs, there are a whole bunch of terms and particular niches that you cannot buy AdWords on. Google just forbids it. You just can't get them. They refuse to let anyone put AdWords on there. So basically what that does is kind of strip away, if you like, that whole competition from AdWords, from PPC, and it puts a huge emphasis on SEO success. And these aren't just porn terms, by the way. There are actually a whole load, I think, in the health and fitness niche, and probably a whole load of other niches as well apart from that. And while some of them that I've seen the SEO competition is quite strong, there are actually a load that was super weak, and one that I was looking at today while I was just preparing for this webinar. There was a 110K search term. This is on a health keyword, so getting 110,000 searches a month. And I think the first two sites were like WebMD and Mayo Clinic, you know, those two guys that show up a lot in health authority sites, of course. And the one that was in third spot there, the first kind of normal internet marketing sort of SEO site, in third spot for that term was a PR1 with not a lot of links going to it, and it was an affiliate site. It went to affiliate products using the shareasale.com platform, which is kind of like a competitor to Commission Junction. So you can, they're actually now looking at it a bit more clearly. There are kind of two ways of running this model. You could just seek out these terms that have very high traffic on these banned AdWords ones and just go after them with a conventional kind of affiliate site with SEO. Or what you can do is to rank the site. It may not get to the very top depending on the authority site there, and you could do more than one. But what you want to do then, after you've actually got it up there, is to place ads on the site as that site being for sale, and then contact all of the other site owners beneath you for the top 3 or even more pages on Google. Anybody who looks like they're trying to SEO the site and trying to get higher up, anything that looks a bit internet marketing-ish, SEO'd, go to those guys, see if they're interested in buying your top-ranking site. I know this isn't fast, this isn't the super fast money option, but it's the clever way, I think, to use SEO and, you know, potentially flip that high-ranking site. And you can imagine if on some terms you actually had, you know, the top 2 or 3 sites, and you actually had this little package of high-ranking sites that you were selling as a package. The value of that on those keywords, because those guys can't get above you, or can't seem to for them unless they know what they're doing SEO-wise or want to spend more. So it's just easier for them to come and buy your sites and get that traffic because they can't get it sort of any other way. They can't use PPC because Google has kind of blocked that. So you can either use it for your affiliate sites in those niches or look to flip the site as well. Let me just check any questions on that. Steve has asked a very good question. How do you find banned AdWords in keywords? Google. If you Google Steve, you'll find it takes a bit of sifting because you get a lot of results about how do I recover from having my AdWords account banned. So you've got to play around there, and you will get there and you will find them. But Health and fitness, you're going to find a bunch, and it can just be, just checking Google and seeing if they've got some AdWords on some big traffic terms, and if they don't, that potentially could be one to go after. I'd love to tell you what those particular keywords and niches are, but then certain people would have to kill me, and that wouldn't be good. Okay, moving on to model number 5. Hey, we're back at Register Compass. Life is good. So here, I don't need a rehash. We're going to buy some PR domains using that Register Compass method. I know it's tough there, you've got to persevere. And then what we're going to do is to write good themed, relevant content for the site and add a nice design. For example, 1140. 1140 is not free. It's a Studio Press WordPress theme. And let me just show you what that looks like. If you know my blog, that currently runs that particular theme. So if I just go there, let me get to the bottom of the page and just grab. So that is what the that 1140 theme looks like. You don't have to have that menu bar there. You can play around with lots of different configuration options. I like that one. It's quite a professional looking one, but obviously up to you, and you can potentially find free ones that look very good as well. There's a reason for that, reason why it needs to look professional. So once you've got those set up, you've got this themed relevant content. So it could be, for law related content or skin product, cosmetic product related content, that kind of thing. Then what you're going to do is offer topic-relevant contextual homepage link rentals on Traffic Planet, possibly Backhat World, and possibly Warrior Forum at a little bit less than the current going rates on each forum. So this is something I've spent a lot of the last few years doing and still do a lot. We're not going to be offering blog roll links. They're all going to be contextual in this nicely written, high-quality content on these PR sites, and kind of working with a package of sites. So in terms of interest in these, let me just give you some numbers here. So if I go into the buy, sell, trade marketplace on Traffic Planet, and let me just scroll down here. Let's have a look. Let's see, go down a bit further. So here we've got Jacob's SE Slingshot. That one actually, it might have some merged posts showing as 105,000 views. If we come down here, I know it isn't high PR link rental, but you can see GSA thread has got 640,000 views. This blast package here has got 598,000 views. This PR homepage package here, 31,000 views. Hasn't done quite as well as some others here. Let me just go up a bit. Okay, just jump onto the next page. High PR links here, 31,000 views. Another thread there, not sure exactly what that one is, 40,000 views. Rank Ascend, which I have recommended, not quite as solid a performer as Slingshot, but still an alternative. That one there is coming up to 50,000 views. And a thread here is going to cost $29.95 a month, just pennies, for what you can offer there. So there's a lot of interest. I think actually the last time I checked Jacob's thread, and I know that isn't monthly link rental, of course, it's like a public blog network. It was showing it's more like 700,000 views, so I'm not sure. Okay. I think you get the idea there. Let me just come back to, okay, there it is. Actually, it will let me just toggle that by most view. Okay, so 598, 110,000 views on Wiki Solutions there. High PR Solutions, 62,000. High Powered Network here, up to 37,000. That's been around quite a while though. So you can see there is definitely considerable interest in that, but as I've discussed on previous webinars, link renters are getting fussier, so if your site's going to look better, obviously that's going to help. So here what you're looking at is monthly. That's obviously the best way to go to rent those links on those sites, or one-off rates. And you see a lot of that on Fiverr, where you just have to pay $5 for a permanent link, usually blog roll link on some PR3 site or whatever. The one-off, just not as good, and the monthly is obviously the better way to go to get that income coming each month. Ben has asked, how do I determine a good price for a single or a package? I would look at what the current offers are, Ben, and undercut those guys slightly. So if for example they're offering a 10 PR3, PR4 group for like $25 a month, you might come in at 20 or $19.95 with 10 to 20 outbound links, depending on what you see is kind of working there in those marketplaces. So you've got Black Hat World, Warrior Forum Place, you can check, and also Traffic Planet, so you can just get a quick feel for the market there. Okay, moving on to model number 6. What am I talking about here? If we head over to this site, masterresaleRights.com/PLR software, or similar kind of site, and you can just Google it. You can buy the best potential plugin there. They're so cheap, you can probably buy a few, test them, play around with them. Assuming you bought the rights to it, and you should have done, you can then rebrand it as your own software. And then what we want to do is come over to, bear with me on this, I'll explain the ingenuity of it in a moment. You want to create a WSO on the Warrior Forum, and that's $40 last time I checked, unless I put the prices up more. Could have gone up from that, I'm not sure. Someone on this call probably knows. $40 a bump to get you back to page 1 after you disappear off page 2. If you're not sure about the mechanics of running a WSO and you're a paid Warrior Forum member, I highly recommend you jump into the War Room, where you'll get guides on, you can access them, there are a few guides in there at the moment on how to run a successful WSO. Now, in the last few years, there's been a massive kind of shift in how successful WSOs sort of work, and they've shifted from kind of strangely away from traffic directly on Warrior Forum to affiliate marketing, email promotion traffic. And there are people who rightly say it's very difficult to have a successful WSO without a bunch of affiliates driving traffic for you. And that might be true, on the bigger launches. I think that probably is the case. But the countermeasure that you have there, it's not necessarily a cheap one that you can consider. If I jump over to Warrior Forum very quickly, we can see here at the top, we've got this banner up the top here. I will write and design a sales page that will rocket your conversion rate. That banner, last time I checked, was $100 a day. And I think you're one of 12, and the management of that banner by Warrior Forum is absolutely horrible, and they will ignore your emails, and it's very hard to get the banner synced up with when something launches properly, but they kind of don't care, and you're sort of at their mercy because they've got it. I've used that banner quite a few times, and the worst result I've ever got is 600 click-throughs a day. So if you have some conversion going from your 600 click-throughs or more a day, you're going to still be in profit and still be okay. Now, you could submit a banner ad to them and they won't approve it for a week or 2 weeks, which is really frustrating, or suddenly a gap might come up and you can get on there tomorrow, but it's really unpredictable, and as I say, they don't, in my view, they don't kind of manage it all that well. So to compensate the fact that you may not have affiliates driving for you is the option of that $100 a day banner there on Warrior Forum. I didn't show you master resale rights. Let me just jump back and show you that very quickly. Somewhere there. Nope, there's my motor trend. If you want to have a look at a factual style article. Okay, here we go. That's very, you could very easily say that, Terry, come on, there have been like hundreds of plugins like this already released, and absolutely they have, but there's always newbie internet marketers coming through, and rightly or wrongly, Warrior Forum is one of those places a lot of them wind up and they won't have seen the other 55 plugins just like it. Because I'm on plenty of lists to kind of see what everybody's doing, if I get one more email about like a WordPress social widget like this, you know, I'm probably just going to explode. But they just come a lot. But part of that is, as I say, the fact that you have so many newbies. And if we just come back here to Warrior Forum right at the moment, and there's a lot of debate about how manipulated these figures are. But you have something like 19,000 people on Warrior Forum right now in the last 12 or 24 hours, and you've got over 5,500 people in the WSO area as well. So even if they're highly inflated, you've still got pretty substantial traffic coming through there. What you can also do is when you're buying your kind of PLR software like a WordPress plugin, you can get others, get one other different one or some others, and you might have an upsell to a suite of, you know, a bundle of different products there. So you've got many newbies on Warrior Forum. Doesn't matter if similar software is offered in the past, because after you offer yours, other people will offer the same thing or very, very similar, not too distant future. Everybody's just in there trying to get a piece of the pie, of course. I think your audience for Warrior Forum is probably stronger than, for example, Black Hat Royal, which I think is kind of more experienced and probably not interested. Wicked Fire, I think, you know, those guys probably eat an offer like that, eat the vendor alive. They just don't stand for any nonsense over there, and they're pretty direct and blunt. Probably Traffic Planet as well. You've got a more experienced user there. But if you wanted to run it, you know, it's like $30 a month for a classified, and you've seen possibly the potential for views that you can get there. Okay, that's on model number 6. Chris has asked, what's some typical or average amount of revenue produced by some of these WSOs? They hugely vary, Chris, and some WSOs hardly sell at all. But when you kind of look at their sales page and how weekly written it is, you kind of no surprises there. They vary enormously, and it could be, for example, that one big affiliate sends out to a big list promoting one new WSO, and that one guy just pushes the numbers up hugely. So it's hard to say. It can vary enormously. I think maybe it's on Warrior Pro. They actually give you the sales volume. You can actually see how many they've sold of the, you know, the standard version, and then the upsell. They actually break those down. I thought JVZoo had it, but I'm mistaken there. It's probably on Warrior Pro, because I can't see it there on Warrior Plus as well. So Warrior Pro could be good, and I'll put a link to Warrior Pro and sort of a picture of the information they give there in terms of sales volume, actually how many units are sold. I'll put that under a link under this recording. You know, I've run WSOs in the past. Some were absolutely huge, and some were disappointing. But I think if you do any kind of sort of marketing in the IM SEO space and you've never done one, they're actually a really valuable experience, and you know, they give you confidence to do bigger things. If you're struggling with that, not you personally, Chris, but just generally. Okay, Steve has said you can see ranges of units in JVZoo as well, for example, under 10 or 100 plus, etc. Yep. So with some, if you go into JVZoo, Chris, you can toggle some settings there and just have a look at some kind of ballpark ranges of how much is sold. And obviously that can give you a bit of a feel for what's sort of hot at the moment. I mean, in the last, I don't know, year, there have just been so many Facebook WSOs, been crazy. Don't know if they've done particularly well, I'm not sure, because that one seems quite saturated to me, but maybe they'd work well. I haven't researched it. Okay, moving on to lucky number 7, and this is very SEO driven, so it's quite dear to my heart, this one, and one that I really wish some serious SEO research would get thrown at so that I don't have to do it. The thing about SEO is we tend to focus just on Google. Like we've sort of, obviously Yahoo and Bing are kind of have pretty much lost the search engine race. It's open to debate, but I've never seen much traffic at all from Yahoo or Bing, and to me they've just never been worth bothering with. But there are other kind of avenues for what I call internal SEO. So for example, something like Google Play with apps. And last week, for example, my wife and I went to Greece for the weekend from Bulgaria, and because of that, I bought a smartphone and started playing around with a few apps there, which before that I wasn't really into it and thought it was a bit of a time waster, but obviously certain apps can be really useful, and actually probably thinking of getting one for SEO traffic hacks made as well. Not sure what it will do, but that's a possible future project. But the thing about other platforms that have a lot of internal traffic, like, instead of worrying about ranking on Google, other platforms have a lot of internal search traffic, and that's why, for example, YouTube has its own, keyword research tool. It's a very crude version of the Google Keyword Planner with a lot less functions and stuff, but it kind of tweaks you to the idea that there is a lot of traffic to be gained from internal SEO. So what I mean by that is when people go, for example, to YouTube, and I know YouTube SEO has been sort of a bit flogged to death, but that's really more about ranking on Google. Let's say I go to YouTube and I type in how to use Excel 2010. YouTube will then come back to me with results in a certain order, but it won't be in what I would consider a seemingly logical order. So, for example, videos that have 5 million views are way below videos that have 100 views, yet they seem to be both about Excel 2010. Why? What are the parameters? What are the dynamics determining what ranks where on YouTube's own internal search engine? So this model here is about creating a platform-specific SEO WSO, like a PDF, like doing some research, which could take a few days, might take a week, possibly longer, to really deeply dive into it and start looking at the factors involved here, the patterns, what's really going on. So why do certain apps come up first? So if I jump onto, let me see, if I go to the Google App Store over here called Google Play, and let's say, for example, I've typed in GPS. Why is this one here by Aponia showing first? That's free. This one has a tick, whatever that is. I can't see. Are these meant to be review stars? I guess they are, but they sort of seem a bit grayed out. So these both have, some of these top ones all have 4 stars. This one has 4.5 stars. It's free. Why is it over there and not first here? And the difference in a position on an internal search engine, not just on apps, and obviously this applies to iPhones, App Store, it can apply to SlideShare, DocStock, Kindle, SEO, Kindle on on Amazon, and when I was looking in there, it wasn't based on sales rank, and it didn't seem to be as based on exact match of the title, really. I'm not sure if Squidoo has much internal traffic, but any platform that has decent internal traffic, there's the opportunity for an SEO, for SEO research, SEO knowledge there that can be packaged into a PDF. And because apps have been a really hot topic on Warrior Forum and even in WSOs to a certain degree, with a lot of how to make your own app type courses. And I even recall, I think last year or year before, Frank Kern's cousin Trey was pushing his how to make an app course really hard as well. I think there is a group of people out there building these apps, but really, if you want to make an app truly successful, shouldn't you be ranking at the top with this internal SEO kind of through App Store? If you're getting near the top there, it could be kind of life-changing. It could really transform the financial success or otherwise of that particular product. And the thing is, there are a lot of platforms, and you need to drill down to one or two maybe and just do it really, really well. But that, to me, is a really, really good kind of WSO that is relatively new. I don't recall seeing ones like that on Warrior Forum. Maybe I'm wrong, and I've missed them, but I don't recall seeing them. Excuse me. So here, all we're doing is just a research-driven project analyzing factors behind results. It's the way they're displayed in one or more platforms, and usually it isn't by the most obvious factors, so it requires some digging, it requires some patience and discipline to put this together. But to me, especially something like an app-based WSO could be that has kind of legs that could sell and sell for quite some time, and you do see that sometimes on WSOs. Admittedly, they keep getting bumped. Excuse me, they keep getting bumped a lot. But even things like on Kindle Training seem to have massive sales as WSOs. You might also consider that $100 a day banner option on Warrior Forum if you need it as well. And if you need any extra encouragement, if your research is solid, I will be your very, very first buyer, and I will happily buy the upsell as well, because to me and the people who buy your WSO on this topic, it's all about trading time for money, and I will do that any day of the week, and that's actually a good marketing angle as well. If you can present something that's going to save time, where there's just a straight value-rich exchange of my money for your time, your research time, I'll buy that 9 times out of 10. Absolutely no risk. Okay, let's jump on to questions. No questions on the apps one. That's awesome, totally awesome. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you do that WSO, you have to send me 50% of all your income from it, because you got the idea from here. I'm kidding. Am I? Half kidding. Okay, that brings us on to, Chris has said, you just blew my mind on this, Terry. Awesome. Don't forget, Chris, 50% of all earnings. Thank you, to my PayPal account. Let me just jump on and see. I might have already covered it earlier. Any general Q&A on any of those models or any of the topics tonight, or anything that you're absolutely stuck with right now on SEO? Chris has said he's going to pay my 50% commission on the app's SEO, so everybody here has heard it. You're my witnesses in court 3 years from now. Okay, looks like everything has been covered, all of the questions. I really hope, guys, that you got a lot out of that, and even if you didn't directly see that model for you, you might have got a good spin-off idea that could be applied to something else or in a different way to get some fast money. If you're stuck and you just want to get that extra bit of kind of regular kind of solid income going. Chris has cheekily asked, I'm guessing you can't give us any other hints on the banned keywords. I can't, Chris, or I would be shot and then killed in many other ways by certain people. But if you look around, health and fitness would be one good area. you know, that's a good start, and you just need to do some digging on some Google keyword, not keyword research, but just do some Google searching, and you will find some good options there. Peter has said, awesome ideas, Terry, amazing value on these webinars. Yes, I got several spin-off ideas to use on the projects. Awesome, Peter, good stuff. So as usual, I'll put the recording of this webinar on the training tomorrow, and if I remember, hopefully I will, I'll put all of the relevant links and things under it. If I forget, please just put a post in there. I won't regard it as rude at all, because I do need to be nagged sometimes because a lot of things going on. So I thank you for coming this week, and hopefully I'll see you next week for our next SEO Traffic Hacks webinar. Have a great day there wherever you are, and talk to you next time.